Traveling halfway across the world to Singapore, where they are building a smart city for the future. Singapore is a nation that does not have a lot of land to work with, and having such a land scarce nation, they aren't focusing on what to build so much as where they are focusing on where to build. Singapore wants to continue being a pioneering city of the world. This is why I chose their city for my urban sustainability project. As urban populations rise, there'll be many challenges to overcome in Singapore. Singapore is already innovating their urban technology and continuing to prepare themselves for the future. In the future, the challenges will evolve around how to house, transport, feed people, and take care of their people. These will be the main focuses I will highlight with Singapore's plan to implement sustainable aspects and development. Singapore has an urban redevelopment authority in charge of the future needs of all of Singapore's land. They are working diligently on many sustainable programs currently in order to meet the needs of their city. The sustainable programs that they will be implementing will be sustainable housing, living space, land reclamation, food sustainability, innovating for the future generations, and all of these will be aimed at improving the quality of life. With the city innovating to benefit living space, they wanted air quality to be the best possible, circulating throughout the city. With Singapore being in the tropics, there is an opportunity to bring in great quality of air from the ocean. By encouraging the breeze to come through, this gives opportunity to improve the quality of life. Architects have strategically been doing this by positioning parks, public spaces, and blocks in a way that allows air to pass through the city in an effective way. Through computer simulation models used by architects, they are able to improve the environmental equality. Singapore is incorporating in land reclamation into their sustainability plan of the future. Going into land reclamation, Singapore is putting into place long-term comprehensive goals and planning, making sure that there is sufficient land that will meet all of the sustainable needs of the future. By doing so, they have actually increased their land mass by about 23%. An example of how they've been doing this is present in their Marina Bay. They have already been working on this for 10 to 15 years, and before the project started with the business district, it was vacant. They decided to take advantage of space underground. With that in mind, they used water and electrical tunnels below the earth, which were at the edge of the actual bay, for means of tunnels. So with that, they made electric tunnels for means of getting water and power to different areas. They also made pedestrian and commercial spaces, which would be used for pedestrians to walk and from one location to the other. Highways and subway tunnels were also made for vehicle and train transport. With the challenge of there being not a lot of land space to work with to build sustainable living, Singapore's developers are actually looking into exploring air rights for their continued growth and sustainability of the city. Designer Jason Pomeroy is looking outside the box with this air rights exploration to create structures over roads and motorways. He also sees extending up above what the current infrastructures actually are and extending those to a taller height, which would give means of more infrastructure for livable space, even turning rooftops into sky courts, gardens, or recreational spaces. Sustainability is certainly a challenge that needs to be addressed. 93% of produce is imported into Singapore. Produce is being grown indoors at sustainable agriculture without sunlight and without soil, where it would normally be grown outdoors. They are really doing the unthinkable with this being the first commercial vertical farm. They have come up with their own system in order to start growing seeds in which they are able to ensure 100% germination success, and then it is put into growing rooms that allows optimization for cultivation throughout plant growth. They control the light, the air temperature, the humidity, as well as carbon dioxide saturation. Health is a major concern to innovate on and make many advancements to keep the people of Singapore healthy. InnoSpark is a company that I was researching that is doing just that. they're making huge strides and making a lot of progress with this. They have already made devices that will help with surgical operations and make them more efficient with less chance of human error. I thought this was really interesting. I watched a little video on this, and it was actually a device that kind of hovered over and it took away the option of human error. So just being that they're able to, put the syringe or the needle through this device to make the more accurate incision or process that they're going through is tremendous. This is just one of the devices that they're working on. So with all those devices in hand, these are really just helping with surgical operations and make them more, efficient with less human error. With there being large fires in the past there, they have needed high quality filtration masks that the city actually became sold out of, and they were faced with a huge problem. InterSpark actually came up with their own masks. They had 3 sizes of the mask that would fit on all sizes of people in Singapore. Really what the problem they were having at first was they had one size fits all. So kids that were putting these on, it was really creating a problem because they weren't able to securely put them on and protect themselves from the harmful vaccines in the air and everything like that. So with InterSpark coming up with that, I thought it was really cool, to benefit the health. The health aspects of sustainability is all about providing for the citizens to live a healthy lifestyle. This company, among others, are innovating and doing everything they can to benefit the health of the future. Innovate or die has been the motivation behind making so many big moves towards a sustainable future for Singapore. Preparing the next generation for the future of sustainability is a huge aim. So they are preparing their kids and younger generations through many forms of technology so they can continue to innovate for future generations to come. This process starts early. I looked into a school called School for Kids. They are teaching sustainable practices, and mainly they are teaching sequential learning at a young age through technology tools in order to build a digital mindset. Really, they want these kids to start having this mindset of coding early on. And this is the skill set that's actually exactly needed in order to get their brains rolling on this. In this process, the kids are learning at a young age the building blocks to be able to code in the future. So this is just teaching skills like problem solving, communication, languages, skills learned through tech toys that are learned at a young age. This is really paving the way for kids by them being able to be introduced at advanced learning concepts early on, which is something I didn't actually have, and I think this would be great to be able to start building those building blocks to be able to start learning. Wrapping this up, innovation and technological advancements will help urban sustainability in Singapore going into the future become stronger and stay at the forefront of the world and how they're actually innovating. The change needed around the world is already underway in Singapore with the advances they are making already. I can't wait to see what the future holds for sustainability in Singapore, a city who is far advanced from any other city I have ever been to. If it can be done here in Singapore, it can be done anywhere around the world. So with all the technologies and sustainable programs they've put in place and plan to put in place, I think this is something that they can replicate around the world to make everyone more sustainable and live a better quality of life.